I'm not much of a gamer, to be honest, but more for reasons of cost and hardware than interest. I have never owned a gaming console, and none of my second-hand PCs have been up to scratch. Macs are simple and reliable, but have little sway in the gaming industry, whereas PCs, in my experience at least, are picky, overcomplicated machines that never do quite what you want them to do. Either I don't have enough processing oomph, or my PC doesn't have the right kind of graphics card. Case in point, Deus Ex Invisible War, Pathologic, and Indigo Prophecy. Even so, I do collect old PC games from the 90s, and own a Windows 98 laptop on which most of them run perfectly. I currently own Half-Life and its 2 expansion packs, The Seventh Guest and its sequel, the original Homeworld, the Gabriel Knight titles, and even both Phantasmagoria games.
Psst! They were banned in Australia. Don't tell anyone.
I only began collecting a few years back, and still have my eye on a few games that are hard to find in Australia, including Sanitarium, Point of View, and the Dreamfall titles. Still, there were a few classic games that worked even on my first computer, a clunky LC575, and remain as cherished pieces of entertainment to this day. This is my top 5 list of my favorite video games. Put your hand to the linking panel, and let's begin. I grew up with the Myst series, you know. I found the game for $5 at a garage sale when I was about 6, and was immediately hooked by its immersive visuals, vexing puzzles, and deceptive mythological storyline. Atris became as real to me as anyone in my life, and the environments tingle with passion and atmosphere. The game's sequel, Riven, was even better, with a photorealistic and expansive world, a dramatic plot, engaging characters, and more context to its puzzles. Sadly, with every sequel, the series would get more beautiful and progressively less interesting. Released by LucasArts 2 years after Myst, The Dig is arguably even better. In this title, George Lucas clearly knew what he was doing, as this third-person point-and-click adventure game features an endlessly intriguing plotline and detailed characters with whom you can talk and jest. You play as retired astronaut Boston Lowe, voiced by Terminator 2's Robert Patrick, leading a mission to destroy a near-Earth asteroid. Unwittingly triggering a mechanism, you and your team are then whisked off in a starship to a derelict alien civilization. The Dig is well scripted and handles multiple character arcs, including Boston's bond with journalist Maggie, and his rivalry with moody archaeologist Brink. This is an impressive feat to see in a video game, and the Wagnerian score and visuals, while pixelated, are often beautiful. The Dig is a very cinematic game, and thus offers some of the best storytelling of this medium. I've never been a fan of real-time strategy games, as they feel too deterministic. Sure, you can upgrade your units, build forts, and storm enemy strongholds, but in the end, it's just a matter of which force is larger or stronger. Starcraft is no different, but its enthralling political storyline, intriguing characters, and film-quality cutscenes more than compensate for this shortcoming and its dated graphics and cumbersome controls. The spiritual predecessor to BioShock, this is about as good as psychological horror games get. A triumph both of subtle chills and the jump-out scare, System Shock 2 made extraordinary use of shadows, sound effects, set design, and voice work to create claustrophobic and deeply distressing gameplay. Shodan is a memorably arrogant villain, and the storyline is, once again, compelling. System Shock 2's fear factor still holds up today, and it is altogether a slicker, better animated, and less cliched superior to Half-Life. An FMV rail shooter by Microsoft Studios, Deadly Tide has, like The Dig, a very cinematic presentation to it, with an orchestral score, convincing graphics, and an action-packed interface that amazed audiences at the time. The goals of the game may be easily followed, and the level select screen displays a map of the flooded Earth. Deadly Tide, unlike Spoonie's nemesis, Microcosm, truly does deserve the label of fast and furious gameplay, as you'll need quick reflexes if you are to fend off the hordes of aliens infesting the world's oceans. Deadly Tide is, in my mind, the definitive rail shooter for anyone who's interested. I would have mentioned a couple of other games, including the 1989 Prince of Persia side-scroller, Deus Ex, and Blizzard's Warcraft 3, but none of these were as important to me, or have such a timeless appeal as the 5 I've shared with you today. If you have any games to recommend, or even donate, I'd be happy to look into them. And until next time, Entaro Adun, Loktar Ogar, and have a nice day.